The night sky over Lisbon shimmered with floodlights from the José Alvalade Stadium. A charity match had just ended. Thousands of fans lingered, their cheers still echoing in the cool evening air. This wasn't just football. It was hope. Children battling illness had been invited, families given free meals, and the proceeds promised to go straight into community projects. Cristiano Ronaldo, wearing a simple black jacket and sneakers, walked calmly through the stadium tunnel. No glamorous entourage, no flashy display, just a man who had given everything on the pitch, not for trophies this time, but for people. In his hands, he carried a small gift bag filled with drawings made by children who adored him. One crayon sketch showed him with angel wings scoring a goal. Ronaldo smiled faintly when he saw it. As he stepped into the parking lot, fans still waved from a distance. "Obrigado, Cristiano." "We love you, Ronaldo." He waved back, humbled, never brushing anyone aside. A little boy broke free from the crowd, rushing up with a warrant out. "Football. Please, just one signature?" Ronaldo knelt, signed the ball, and whispered, "Never stop believing in your dreams." The boy's mother, with tears in her eyes, thanked him quietly. Small moments like these mattered to him more than medals or headlines. But away from the lights and laughter, something darker stirred. Across the street, inside an unmarked van, two men watched Ronaldo's every move. Their radios crackled softly. One whispered, "Target will exit in approximately 3 minutes. Confirming orders from Blackstone?" A voice replied coldly through static, "Confirm. Tonight he falls." The men exchanged grim looks. Outside, the crowd had no idea that what was about to unfold would shock the entire world. Cristiano walked toward his car, humming softly, still holding the children's gift bag. The street was peaceful, almost too peaceful. He had no idea that in just a few minutes, everything would change. The parking lot lights flickered against the polished surface of Ronaldo's car. He walked slowly, shoulders relaxed, the night air cool against his face. To the fans still watching from afar, it was just another evening. But to those hidden in the shadows, it was the moment they had been waiting for. The unmarked vans rolled forward silently, like predators stalking their prey. Their engines barely made a sound, but the tension in the air was undeniable. Ronaldo sensed something strange. Years of discipline had given him an instinct for danger, both on and off field. He paused near his car, scanning the lot. The chatter of fans felt distant now, replaced by a low hum, the kind of silence that carries warning. Then, a voice crackled in the earpiece of one officer inside the van. "Phase 1. Move in." The side door slid open. Boots hit the pavement. Officers in dark tactical uniforms fanned out, forming a wall around Ronaldo. Flashlights blinded him, beams cutting through the night. "Cristiano Ronaldo," the lead officer barked. "You're under arrest for financial fraud and criminal conspiracy." The words echoed like thunder. Fans screamed from the barriers. Cameras instantly rose, recording every second. Ronaldo took a single step back, confusion etched across his face. "On what grounds?" His voice was steady, but there was steel beneath it. "Show me the evidence." The officer ignored him, snapping handcuffs around his wrists with a metallic click. Gasps erupted from the crowd. A young girl cried out, "No, he didn't do anything." Her father tried to comfort her, but his own hands shook as he held up his phone. Live streaming the scene, the cold steel dug into Ronaldo's skin, but his eyes never wavered. He stood tall, his presence commanding even as the world tried to pull him down. From the crowd, voices rose in protest. "This is wrong. Release him. Where's your proof?" The officers tightened their grip. "Save your words, Ronaldo." "You'll speak at the station," one hissed, but the crowd wasn't backing down. People pushed closer, dozens of phones capturing every angle. Journalists who had covered the charity game now rushed forward, their cameras flashing. The tension thickened. Something bigger than a simple arrest was unfolding. And Ronaldo, though chained, knew this wasn't justice. It was a setup. His instincts whispered what his heart already knew. This wasn't about the law. This was personal. The night exploded into chaos. As the handcuffs locked around Ronaldo's wrists, the once celebratory parking lot turned into a battlefield of voices. Fans screamed in disbelief, their chants echoing off the stadium walls. Let him go. He's innocent. This is Cristiano Ronaldo. The officers tightened their circle, forcing Ronaldo forward. Their formation was sharp, calculated, almost military. But the crowd wasn't staying silent anymore. They surged closer, camera phones held high, live streams broadcasting to millions across the globe in real time. Ronaldo's face remained calm, but his jaw tightened. He glanced at the nearest journalist, who shouted, Cristiano, is this true? Did you know about the charges? Ronaldo's voice cut through the chaos, deep and unwavering. I've given my life to this game. To people, I've stolen nothing. I fear nothing. The truth will speak for itself. The words hit like lightning. Cheers erupted, mixing with shouts of anger toward the police. The live streams multiplied. Within minutes, hashtags began trending. Worldwide, hashtag Free Ronaldo. Hashtag Justice for Cristiano. Inside one of the vans, a nervous officer whispered to his commander, Sir, the crowd's getting hostile. We didn't prepare for this many witnesses. The commander's reply was sharp, almost panicked. Move him now. Don't let him talk. But it was already too late. A young man with a drone sent it buzzing above the scene, capturing every angle. Its camera zoomed in on Ronaldo's chained hands, his steady expression, and the officer's aggressive tactics. The footage streamed. Live across multiple platforms, millions were now watching history unfold. The officer shoved Ronaldo toward the van, but the people pressed closer, a wall of resistance forming around their hero. One man shouted, You're arresting the wrong person. Show the evidence. Another, trembling but determined, raised his phone right in front of an officer's face. The whole world is watching you. One wrong move and your careers are finished. The lead officer growled, Step back. But his voice shook with doubt. The authority he once carried was crumbling under the weight of thousands of eyes, eyes that would not look away. And in that moment, Ronaldo realized something profound. Even in chains, he was not powerless. The truth was bigger than the cuffs, bigger than the lies, bigger than the men trying to drag him into the dark. The 7 minutes had just begun. The night had shifted. What began as a quiet arrest was now a storm. Hundreds of voices fused into one roar, a roar that shook the pavement beneath their feet. The officers tried forcing Ronaldo toward the van, but the people refused to stand aside. Parents, students, journalists, even stadium staff, all pressed closer, forming a human barrier between Ronaldo and those who wanted to take him. Show us the charges. Someone shouted, This is injustice. Cried another. The air grew heavy with defiance. Ronaldo, though cuffed, stood taller than ever. His eyes scanned the crowd, his people, his strength. He didn't need to fight back. They were fighting for him. Suddenly, a hand shot up from the front row. It was the young boy Ronaldo had signed the football for earlier that evening. His small voice trembled, but it carried through the noise. You can't take him. He's our hero. The crowd erupted, chanting in unison. Free Ronaldo! Free Ronaldo! The officers faltered. Their formation cracked. The commander barked. Orders. Hold the line. Push them back. But his men hesitated. Their eyes darted nervously to the cameras, the drones, The live streams now being watched by millions worldwide. Every shove they made was broadcast in real time. Every face of resistance immortalized on screens across the globe. Then, a middle-aged journalist pushed through the crowd, holding her press badge high. "I'm recording everything," she shouted. "If you have evidence, show it now. If not, this will end your careers tonight." Her words were like fire to dry wood. The people surged harder. The police line bent under the pressure. For the first time, the power didn't belong to the officers. It belonged to the crowd. Ronaldo turned his head slightly toward the commander. His voice calm but cutting. "You think you're humiliating me. But every second you drag me here without proof, you're destroying yourselves." The commander's face tightened. He pulled out his radio, whispering furiously. "We're losing. Control. Blackstone needs to see this. It's spiraling." And as the minutes ticked, something became clear. This wasn't just an arrest anymore. This was a war of truth versus corruption, of a legend versus a machine built to break him. Countdown was still running, and the world was watching, breathless as the chants grew louder outside the stadium. Ronaldo remained calm, the cuffs glinting under the harsh streetlights. He knew the clock was ticking, 7 minutes, just like the legend had promised. From the crowd, a woman pushed forward. She was wearing a sharp blazer, holding a tablet streaming live to millions. "I'm an attorney," she announced, her voice slicing through the chaos. "By law, you cannot detain anyone without presenting clear evidence. Every second you refuse, you're liable." Officer Bradley Matthews, leading the operation, froze. His hand tightened on the cuffs, and a bead of sweat ran down his temple. The world wasn't watching a minor arrest anymore. It was watching a national injustice unravel. The woman continued. "I'm recording this. Every violation, every false accusation, every abuse of power, it's all going online, globally. Tonight, careers will be destroyed if you continue this." Ronaldo tilted his head, calm as ever. "Do you see?" he said softly. "Every action you take without truth, without evidence, is a chain you forge for yourself. And you've already begun locking yourselves in." The crowd around him roared in approval. Every mobile phone became a witness. Every camera a sword of justice. Then, the security manager from the stadium stepped forward, pulling out a tablet connected to all CCTV feeds. "Let's review the footage," he said, voice trembling but firm. "This shows Ronaldo's movements, from start to finish. Every step, every interaction, everything documented." The officers exchanged nervous glances. They had no defense. The lawyer raised her hand, pointing to the live feed. "Everyone watching, this is the truth. And the truth travels fast. Right now, millions are seeing the abuse, the manipulation, and the lies. What you're doing will not be forgotten." Bradley. Matthew's hands shook. Officer Cole, standing nearby, avoided eye contact. They realized the cage they built around Ronaldo was now a trap for themselves. Ronaldo's eyes swept the crowd, calm yet piercing. "You tried to humiliate me, to make an example out of me. But every injustice you commit, every false claim you file, it comes back to the source. You've already started your own destruction." Minutes passed. 7 minutes. The live stream surged in viewers. Social media exploded. News outlets picked it up. Hashtags trended globally. Ronaldo's courage. And the crowd's resistance became a symbol. Finally, Matthews lowered the cuffs, hands trembling. I need to review the evidence," he whispered. Cole nodded reluctantly. This is a mess," she admitted. The crowd cheered. Ronaldo lifted his head, eyes meeting the cameras. "Justice isn't given. It's demanded," he said. "And today you all demanded it. For truth, for dignity, for everyone." The 7 minutes had ended, but the ripple effect was just beginning. By the next morning, the story dominated headlines worldwide. Officers implicated, conspirators exposed, reputations shredded. All because the truth, amplified by witnesses and courage, refused to stay silent. Ronaldo walked out, uncuffed, the hero not just of the game, but of integrity itself. Every person who had stood up alongside him felt the power of choosing right over convenient. The next morning, the sun rose over Lisbon, but the fallout from the previous night's events had already reached global headlines. Every major news outlet carried the story. Cristiano Ronaldo handcuffed by police. Truth exposed in 7 minutes. Officers Matthews and Cole were under immediate investigation. Internal Affairs opened files on their past conduct. Their colleagues, once allies, now avoided eye contact, whispers of incompetence and abuse, following them down every corridor. In the corporate offices of the conspiracy's orchestrator, Richard Blackstone. Panic reigned. Emails and calls flooded in. Investors threatened withdrawal. Sponsors reconsidered partnerships. His carefully curated empire, built on influence and intimidation, began to crumble before his eyes. Meanwhile, Ronaldo, calm and composed, held a press conference at his training facility. "I walked into a situation I didn't ask for," he said, voice steady, capturing every camera lens. "But what happened isn't about me. It's about accountability, justice, and standing up when power is misused." The lawyer, Jennifer Walsh, released full footage online. Every detail, the handcuffs, the crowd, the security feeds, was publicly available. The footage went viral. Fans, athletes, and citizens alike celebrated Ronaldo's composure, courage, and moral authority. Within 48 hours, Richard Blackstone resigned from multiple boards. Matthews and Cole were suspended, facing disciplinary hearings. Lawsuits were filed, and in every courtroom, the footage served as irrefutable proof of misconduct. Ronaldo didn't celebrate. Instead, he quietly continued his training, visiting hospitals and community centers, emphasizing humility and integrity over vengeance. He knew that real strength wasn't in punishing the guilty, but in inspiring a culture where truth could never be silenced. Globally, the incident became a case study in ethics and accountability. Sports academies showed footage to students. Corporate workshops discussed the importance of moral courage, and media analysts dissected how the truth, amplified by ordinary people and technology, can dismantle the most carefully constructed lies. By the end of the week, the conspirators' careers were irreversibly damaged. Sponsors severed ties. Law enforcement agencies conducted full audits. And for millions watching, Ronaldo emerged not only as a football legend, but as a living lesson in integrity, resilience, and justice. The 7 minutes that began in fear and intimidation had ended in clarity, exposure, and global admiration. And Ronaldo, walking away from the chaos, remained the quiet hero of the story, a reminder that true power comes not from position or wealth, but from unwavering courage to do what's right.